Hey everyone, Liz with 2Z's here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about my tattoos and my piercings. So let me just begin by saying if you don't agree with tattoos or piercings or you're squeamish by any of those things, even though I'm not showing needles or anything like that in the video, or you're grossed out by body parts or anything like that, then this isn't the video for you. Don't watch, and that's really all there is to it. And besides that, I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm just gonna go in chronological order of when I've received all of my tattoos and piercings. I have all of my original piercings. I really don't want to ever have to take any of them out. I know if my mom watches any of my videos, I don't think she does. Part of me thinks she does, part of me thinks she doesn't. Because my sister told me that my mom thinks my videos are too long, so I don't think she watches them. But also knowing how my mom is, I think she does. So if she hears this, she's not taking out any of her piercings ever. Sorry, Mom. I really love them. And I've struggled with self-esteem and body image issues my entire life, and I feel like that's something maybe I always will struggle with, learning to love myself. You should too. Something that's really helped is putting needles in or through my skin, not drugs. Tattoos and piercings is what I'm talking about, obviously. And wrote a little list here so I could more easily remember, and I will find all the pictures of everything, or if I don't have any that I've posted on social media, I can just obviously go take a picture and insert it in the video while I'm talking, so you guys can, see what I'm talking about for the appropriate ones. I think there's only just one I can't really show you. But the first piercing I ever got was my lobes done, just my first set, the little tiny ones you get right here, just your first set of lobes. When I was a baby, I think I was only 1 or 2, my mom used to tell me. And if I remember the story right, she just took me to the mall, one of those piercing pagodas. And I'm pretty sure they just used one of those piercing guns, which you should not do. You should always go to a professional piercer. Don't use those guns. They're actually very traumatic for your ears and they're not good for your body. Have a professional piercer do it. And my first lobes are gauged now. I am at 2s, but she said I just sat there and I didn't even know what was going on, and they just, did it real quick, and I didn't cry, and that was that. And I kept those in, I think until the 1st grade. And I remember losing, I think I had my original sit-in, which are those little diamonds or whatever. Who knows if they're real or not. I was just a kid. It's just the ones they, put in at the mall. And I remember losing one of them at recess, and my mom was, all upset, don't be losing your earrings. And she put a different, pair of earrings in. And I was so paranoid about that because, crazy OCD me, even as a baby, toddler, 1st grade. So I would pinch them really, really, really tight to my ear. And because of that, they were I'd make my ears bleed with how tight I was pinching them to my ears. I'm playing with my earrings now. These ones are they were just moving. I would make my ears bleed with how tight I was pinching them to my ears. So I was whatever, you're done with earrings. We're just going to take these out. You're irritating your ears because you're pinching them to your ears. And I was okay, whatever, sounds good to me. The earrings were freaking me out anyways because I was so worried about losing them, and they were hurting my ears to begin with because I was pinching them to my ears. So fast forward to 4th grade, I joined Girl Scouts. And my friend Cassidy, her mom was a Girl Scout leader, super fun, sold Girl Scout cookies, all that jazz. And I remember that we made these little earrings. It was one of the crafts we had to do, and they were these snowman earrings. They were super, super cute. And I remember her saying if your ears aren't pierced, you can give them to somebody you know who wears earrings. And I didn't know anybody who wears earrings. My aunt didn't wear earrings anymore. My mom doesn't wear earrings. And I just remember that just a couple of years before, I wore earrings. And I remember going home and asking my mom, I was Mom, I really want to wear these. like, it's like, can I get my ears pierced again? My mom's like, well, like, your holes might still be open. Like, we could just shove them through. And I was like, okay, yeah, do that. And no joke, my mom just takes these little, like, snowman earrings that, like, I made in Girl Scouts and just shoves them through my ears. And, like, they were, like, kind of closed, kind of open. So I remember hearing and feeling the pop. Like, we didn't get an ice cube or anything. But they went through and it didn't hurt that bad. And I was like, check out my snowman earrings I made. They're so cute. Like, that was so worth it. And I kept earrings in ever since. Super responsible with them, you know, cleaned them. And I remember always going to Claire's and, like, wanting to collect those cheap earrings that I'm allergic to anyways. And then I'd always wonder why, like, you'd get that black gunk, and I'd just be switching earrings and cleaning them all the time. And, you know, I learned very quickly that I needed to get better earrings, but I was a sucker for those Claire's earrings that are like, oh, these ones look like little zippers, and these ones look like safety pins, and these ones look like dinosaurs. Like, I mean, most people are familiar with, like, Claire's earrings. All you have to do is go to the mall, like, walk in, walk out real quick. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, they have all, like, the little foods and little animals, and, like, when you're in the 4th, 5th, 6th grade, like, that's what's really cool. That, for me anyways, like, I wanted to collect all the earrings. And like, I had these dice ones, and they were all colored, and I had to, like, I would match the dice to my outfit, to, like, my makeup, and I was so extra. So that was my first piercing. After that, I can't remember which one came first. I believe I got my lobes done, my second lobes done next. And I don't remember how old I was. I'll find it on Facebook. I had to have been at least 13, like 12 or 13, because I would have, like, posted this on, like, Instagram or Facebook. I remember, like, begging to get, like, my second set of lobes done. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I actually have very small ears. And, like, anytime I've gone to a piercer and I'm like, hi, can I have, like, another piercing? Excuse me. And, like, I had to special order my industrial bar too for a smaller one, because, like, I've been told by piercers that I have, like, smaller ears, especially for an adult, that, like, jewelry doesn't fit me right. And they've had to, like, some of my, like, piercings they've had to put in, like, different places than they would on other people, like, slightly over to one side or the other, because my ears are smaller. Where was I going with this? Oh, but so I'm like 12 or 13, and I'm begging my mom for, like, to get my second lobes done. We go to Claire's. She lets me get my second lobes done. Again, piercing gun. Don't do that. But I did, because my mom's not going to take me to a tattoo shop. She's, like, super against, like, tattoos and stuff. I think she's a little more, well, she doesn't like tattoos, but she seems a little more open-minded about these things now that, like, I'm an adult, because she told my 17-year-old sister that she can go get a tattoo, but, like, heaven forbid, like, I go do these things. You know how these things work. Like, youngest gets to go do whatever they want. So be it. So after that is when I asked to get my, like, cartilage done, because as you're getting older, this is all within, like, me being 13 or 14. So, like, still within small time frame. I was like, Mom, I really, really, really want to get, like, something on my cartilage up here, and I have 3 rings currently, and the first one I got is the one in the middle. And again, we went to Claire's, and I'm 13 or 14 years old, and I know that for a fact because I remember posting it to Instagram, and I remember putting in one of my Skull Candy earbuds, like, immediately, because I was in the back of my mom's car listening to music, and I, like, took a picture of it when I, like, had my new cartilage. I was so pumped because, like, all the girls in my grade were like they had, like, 3 piercings, and they're getting their cartilage pierced. Some of the popular girls were already starting to get their industrials pierced, and, like, I'm just fascinated with piercings. I love them, as you could now tell with my ears filled up with piercings. And I remember when we got to Claire's, again with a piercing gun. I think that I'm 99% certain, yeah, that is my last one with a piercing gun. Please, 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 please do not use piercing guns. I don't, you know, if your child is 10 years old and they want to go get their lobes pierced, take them to a tattoo shop. They are professionals. It is the best thing you can do. and it is less damaging to your body. It is more accurate. Those piercing guns can jam. They can be horrible. I am thankful that that did not happen to me. So anyways, we get there and like my mom's filling out the paperwork, and I remember this specifically. I don't even care if you're watching this, Mom. I don't even deny this. I remember this. And she asked the lady at Claire's, and I wanted it on my right side. And I remember wanting it on my right side because like to me, like this is silly. Most people, girls anyways, will tell you if they have like a good or bad side, like, oh, let me stand on this side, like this is my good side, this is my bad side, or whatever. To me, this is my bad side. So that's why I wanted my cartilage over here, and like I wanted my nose piercing over here, because like if I got these things over here, they made my bad side better. For like pictures and whatnot, like I didn't feel like it was so bad, and they're bad because my bangs are over here. So like I thought this looked, I don't know, it makes sense in my head. You know how, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like I hope it doesn't sound silly, and if it does, like whatever, I'm crazy and I've come to terms with this. She asked the piercing lady, she goes, my daughter wants it on the right side, and I know how kids are these days. I heard that might mean you're gay. If she gets it on the right side, does that mean she's gay? Or if she gets it on the left side, does that mean she's gay? Like, if she gets it on one side or the other, is she like making a statement? Like, like, is she unknowingly making a statement to people that like I don't want her to be like making to like everyone around her? And like the piercing lady's like looking at her like no, like that's actually not true, like that's not really a thing. And like even so, like I'm pretty sure that's just like for guys, like when they get like one ear done like on their lobe. It doesn't really apply to girls, and it doesn't really apply to cartilage. Like she's fine. And then I think she goes like, I think it's the left side anyways. I know what my mom's referring to, because I remember like a couple guys who got like one lobe done. I don't even know what side it is, and I don't even care or know if that's a thing. I genuinely just wanted my right side done, and like, joke's on you, Mom, like I'm pansexual anyway, so like yes, I do like girls and guys, but like I was not making a statement by getting it on my right ear. Like this is my bad side, and I just wanted my cartilage done on my right side. But I just thought it was like, I remember sitting there like cringing. I was like, oh my God, like my mom's really asking Miss Claire's piercer this. And like now knowing this at like knowing this now at 22 years old, and like I was 13 back then, this was probably just some 22-year-old girl working there at this time, like listening to like my mom asking her this, and she's probably like, oh my God, like this poor girl, like no, like she can just get her cartilage pierced, it's fine, like no, it's fine, like thank you, Claire's worker, thank you. Anyways, the next piercing I got wasn't until, if I keep looking down, it's at my little list, wasn't until 2014, my senior year of high school. This was in the fall though, so I graduated 2015, so this was right in the fall, and I remember it was before like homecoming court and everything. My best friend Rocky just got her industrial pierced, and I remember some of the other popular girls like just got their industrial pierced, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. All I wanted was this stupid little bar through my ear, and I love it more than anything. And I remember begging my parents, I was like, hey Mom and Dad, can I get my industrial pierced? And they're like what's that? Like, Liz, why are you bothering us with these things? Like, my parents are very traditional. Like, if I could paint the picture for you, like my parents had like me and Sam like later, like my dad's in his mid-60s, my mom's, I'm not gonna say her age, I think she'll be mad, she's older, if my dad's age hints towards that. You know, because my older brother, like he's 28, I'm 22, Sam's about to be 18 next month, like, you know, we're all older, you know, my dad's old enough to be my grandpa if he wanted to, but like that's just how things were back in the older days. And like you know, they hold different values than my generation does. And so when it comes to, you know, weed or tattoos and piercings or politics or just overall anything, we don't always see eye to eye. And so when I come to them with something like, hi, can I shove a needle through my ear? They look at me like, are you kidding me? Like, is like really, Liz? But I remember asking my mom, and she was like, go ask your dad. And I asked my dad, and he's like, oh, ask your mom. You know, that little runaround game that they make you play. And dad said he didn't care, and mom said she didn't care. So basically, I got to go get it done. And so dad said he would take me. My dad is actually deathly afraid of needles, which is kind of funny. He has one tattoo, and it was just a banner on his arm that he got when he was 18 years old that says Bob. And that's his name. Like, it just says Bob. And my mom made fun of him because she's like, why would you get your own name tattooed on you? Like, it looks, she told him it looks like he is like a gay man who has like his gay lover's like name tattooed on him, but it's his own name tattooed on him. Like, you know, that'd be like if I just had like Liz tattooed on me for no reason. And I thought it was funny. But after I got my after I got my first tattoo, I think it was, my dad did have me go like with him, and he got it fixed up and more added to it. I can insert a picture of that here. It looked really cool. He's super obsessed with being called like the man and like Superman and like Marvel and DC stuff. So he had the Superman symbol added to it, but a B on the inside instead of an S, and it says the man. So it's like Super Bob, and he had it all fixed up and put on his arm. And I'm really proud of him that you know, he's got, instead of just that little silly Bob banner, it looks like a really nice piece on his arm now. So, you know, go you, Dad, for getting that all fixed up and put together. And my mom was pissed. When he first, that was like my freshman year of college. She was pissed when he got that done. She originally told him that she wouldn't go anywhere with him if he wore a sleeveless shirt. And then when she found out that I went with him, like he had me go with him because one, he wasn't even sure if he was going to chicken out or not, because again, he's terrified of needles. She told him that that was going to encourage me to get more tattoos, even though I was already getting tattoos and piercings at this point because I was a legal adult, and that it was wrong. And so she was upset about that as well. But I was just there for like moral support for my dad. And I found out, because he was telling the tattoo artist, the story when he was getting it tattooed on his arm, that when he got that tattoo, because, you know, times were different 45 years ago or whatever, he was 18, and I guess he was like drunk with all his buddies, and he went to this tattoo shop and he got it tattooed on his arm. And they told him, come back in 2 weeks for a touch-up. He went back 2 weeks later for a touch-up, and the tattoo shop was just completely demolished, like gone, like condemned, like, and then they like took a wrecking ball and like completely got rid of the place. And I was like, wait, Dad, like you've genuinely never told me the story. But then I realized I never asked at the same time. Like that's the one and only tattoo my dad ever got, which I guess he was drunk for in the first place. And he always joked about it. He's like, well, if I ever got amnesia and I woke up in the hospital, I'd know what my name is. Like if he like woke up and like looked down at his arm, like at least he'd know his name was Bob. I think that's hilarious to begin with. But like, whatever, I digress. That's my dad for you. He's funny. He's a really, really great guy. Anyways, so my dad took me to get my industrial pierced. We went to the Crucible in Kent. He didn't want to go back with me at first. I was only 17. And they were like, no, sir, like we kind of need you to come back with us since she's a minor. And so my dad sat in the corner and like just had like, he just like looked in the corner the whole time because he didn't want to watch them like stab me through the ear, which was fine. They said he didn't have to watch. They just needed him in the room, like legally. That's what they preferred. And I was like, you know, I was really appreciative. And I guess like my parent, like they didn't understand what it was I was getting done, because when it was done and over with, my dad saw it and he's just like, that's stupid. Like, why did you want a bar through your ear? And I was like, yay, I'm so happy. That wasn't bad. And I'm pretty sure it was on a Sunday, because like they were the only place open on a Sunday, because like I had to go the next day. Like as soon as I got the yes from my parents, I knew if I didn't go immediately they would change their mind and I wouldn't be able to get it. And then my mom came home from work later that day and she goes, if I had known that's what it was, I wouldn't have let you got it. You just got a bar through your ear. And I'm like, isn't it fantastic? Like, I love it. It was great. So a few months later, in August of 2015, on my 18th birthday, that's when I got, okay, so after this, kind of when I get tattoos and piercings, anytime I go, sorry, I heard noises. It's Nugget in her cage, my hedgehog. Anytime I go, I kind of get multiple things done at once because I go few and far between. But when I do go, it's like, hey, I need a couple piercings and a couple tattoos. And they're just like, all right. And I know some people say they have like high pain tolerances, but I genuinely believe that I do. Like, I genuinely have them stab me a few times and then like I go. Or I'm like, hey, give me 3 tattoos and then I leave. And then I don't come back for a year. The worst part of it is me getting there. Like, I have horrible anxiety getting my ass to the tattoo piercing shop because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. You know, here I am like 14 tattoos later and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. But I still have like, you know, I have some pretty big pieces on my body now and I still like, it's not that bad. I'm not saying tattoos don't hurt, but like they're very manageable. Whatever, but I have heard they hurt the older you get, so like I need to hurry up and get as many as I can now while I'm young. And like, because I hear like once you hit like past 30, like they really start to hurt. That's what my friend Rich at work says. He's got like 2 full sleeves and I think he has some stuff on his back and his chest, and he's like, yeah, like they really start to hurt the older you get. And he has some stuff he wants to get like redone and some more stuff he wants to add too. And I think he's only like 32, 33 maybe, and he wants to hurry up and get some of those done because he says they're starting to hurt more than they did a few years ago. And I was like, damn, Lynn, you're only like in your early 30s. Like, if they're starting to hurt, like I better get these done in the next few years so I don't like chicken out like the older I get. Anyways, I turn 18 August 15th 2015. Yes. And it's my 18th birthday and I was like, bye mom, I'll see you for dinner later. I'm going to go get my first tattoo and like my nose pierced because I was begging her to get my nose pierced for months. And she goes, no. And I was like, fine, if you're not going to let me, I'm just going to go do it on my 18th birthday. She didn't believe me. I did it. And she was pretty mad when I got home. She goes, like, she's like, you had to go get a tattoo. You went and got these piercings and you couldn't just wait, or you couldn't just do one at a time. And I was like, no, I've been waiting to do all this and I'm an adult and I used my money and I did these things. And it just kept going from there. Like, I just keep getting tattoos and piercings and they make me feel very good about myself. And that's all there is to it. So I went and I got my nose pierced. And I got my first tattoo, which was my zodiac sign on my back, and I'll insert a picture here. I found that one on Pinterest, I believe it was, and I really, really liked it because I wanted something that incorporated the actual symbol for Leo itself, which is like half of the heart, and I really liked that it incorporated the like planet, which is the sun, and I really wanted the like a lion itself to be in it as well. So like it's kind of like this, like it's overall the zodiac Leo in itself. And I knew from the start I really wanted that to be my first tattoo. I knew that for years. And I really liked that I got it on my birthday. And then I also got 2 on my cartilage. So we already know that I had the one in the middle. I got the cartilage on top and the one underneath it. So then I have my 3 rings. So I got 3 piercings and 1 tattoo, all for my birthday. Then 2 months later, when I started college, I got my tragus pierced over here. I'll insert a picture of that. I went with my friend Rocky. She was visiting from her college. I think she went to Case Western. I don't know. She was somewhere like 2.5 hours away. She was visiting with one of her friends, and Rocky and I both got our traguses pierced. Her friend got her belly button pierced. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing, and I was all about it. Like, I had no plans, but we were walking around like, oh, what can we do? And her friend really wanted her belly button pierced, and Rocky's like, oh, I've really been thinking about getting my tragus pierced. And I was like, fuck it, I'll get mine too. And like, it didn't hurt at all. It was a quick pop, like, and honestly, like, none of these piercings up to this point have hurt me at all. Like, I mean, The best way I could explain it is honestly like a quick pinch. And like, you know how like when someone pinches you, you're like, ow, and then like it's over. Like it honestly hurt for that second. And that's it. And then the only other thing is that like it gets hot afterwards. But then they get that like cleaning solution and it cools it off and you're like, oh, like that was totally worth it. It hurt for a second and it's done and it's worth it. I've always followed the same cleaning routine for all of my piercings and whatnot. I've used the same cleaning solution. I'll actually grab that. Hold on just a sec. Okay, so this is the stuff I've been using since I got my like cartilage pierced actually. Because at first I was using that like big bottle of like Claire's ear cleaning solution that they like have you buy, because like that's where I was going. And after that, when I no, it was probably when I got my cartilage pierced. No, not my cartilage. My industrial pierced is when like the professional piercer was like using this stuff. And they're like, oh, use this. And I was like, okay. And I liked this a lot better than the stuff that Claire's was having me use. I don't know if there's a difference or whatnot. This is like $2 at Walmart. And I've been using it the last almost 5 years. So, well, yeah, 5 years. Almost 6. So I'm gonna keep using it. What's after that? Ooh, after about a year after getting my tragus pierced, I started gauging my first holes with my ex, because he had gauged his ears and then he took them out and they went back down to like normal, and then he decided he wanted to gauge his ears again, and I was like, oh, I want to gauge him. So like we gauged him together, and I don't know if he still has his or not, who cares. I kept mine. I love them. I don't know if I will ever take them out. I'm so sorry, Mom, but I really don't want to. I don't think I'll ever gauge up. I'm very, very comfortable with my 2s. They have been 2s for almost 5 years now. It's almost been 5 years. So, you know, started at like normal little just pinholes, and now they're at 2s. So they're big enough that I could fit a Q-tip through them. Do you guys want to see? Okay, I'm gonna do it. So like if you don't like this, fast forward. See? I could just shove a little Q-tip through my ear. Nope. That's all I wanted. I just wanted them big enough to shove a little Q-tip through my ear with ease. So started gauging. Was not that bad at all. My original goal was to get to 00s. And I have like the tapers and whatnot to get up to there. But when I tried getting to 0 and I realized how difficult that was going to be, I was like, nope, I'm going to stay at 2. And I've decided to permanently stay at 2 since then. And that's really all there is to it. If you're curious though, Blaine does have big gauged holes and I love them. He was at 9/16 and he just recently gauged a size up from that, and I have no idea what size that is. He's so cute. He just walked by. After that, I went to Warhorse, which is the only place that I love to go now. Because I went there. No, I did not go to Warhorse for my Snug and Dave. I went to Defiance. I did not get to experience Warhorse just yet, but Warhorse is where I only really want to religiously go from here on out, and I have gone the last handful of times, and I really only want to go there. But the next place I went right around when I started gauging my ears. I went to Defiance in Kent, and I got my Snug and Dave pierced at the same time. I got my Dave pierced over here, which is on the inside, and I'll insert a picture. And I got my Snug pierced, which is this one, on my left ear, and I'll insert a picture. My daith I had wanted done for a while because they call it the migraine piercing. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I struggle with chronic migraines, hence the medical marijuana card. And I really do feel as if the daith has helped with my chronic migraines, but it is not a miracle worker. I still suffer from them. Honestly, lately, the one thing that's helped with my migraines is being on the Topamax and the marijuana, truthfully. But again, I just, I deal with them. But I will admit, my daith and my snug are the two that I struggle with the most. And I truly, truly believe it's because of the piercer. It was horrible. We were there for like, I don't know how long we were there overall, like waiting, but like piercing wise, it took like, it felt like forever. He was fiddling with the daith for at least half an hour. And I swear part of that was because like my ear is too small. And again, that was something that the piercer at the Crucible had said with my industrial. She said she had to put it up higher because my ears are too small. And I had to special order this smaller bar. And even then, it's too long. But he had like a plastic dummy daith that he was putting on my ear, and he fiddled with it to make sure it was in the right spot for at least half an hour. It is no joke. And like the longer I laid there, the more anxiety I had. And I just hated that he was like in my ear for like half an hour. Oh, and speaking of which, when I got my first tattoo and the 2 cartilage piercings, I went to Defiance as well. And that's where my dad went when he got his tattoo on his arm. I just wanted him to pierce me already. But, you know, I'm not saying anything. I'm letting him do what he needs to do because I had read online, like, these people, first of all, you know, they're licensed. They learn what they need to learn. They do what they got to do, because if you pierce the wrong spot, like, I'm not trying to be, like, paralyzed or something like that. And when he pierced me, he, like, struggled with, like, shoving the needle in. And so, like, he didn't get, like, a clean, like, shoving it through. And so he's, like, it took him so long to like actually shove the needle through, and then I'm just gushing blood everywhere, and like I go home and like I'm gushing blood, and I remember the next day like my ear is swollen and purple, and like I had a migraine because my ear is swollen and purple, and I'm like, and like you can't take these things out. Like they tell you, like if you ever have an irritation with piercings, you have to let them heal. You can never ever take a piercing out when they're irritated, because if you do, the holes will close with the infection inside, and that can cause way more problems. You have to let them heal first, and then if you don't want the piercing anymore, take the jewelry out. That's what a hospital would tell you, that's what the piercer would tell you, that's what the internet's going to tell you. And plus I wanted it, but like, you know, so like, you know, your first thought is like, oh no, like that looks like it's a problem. Should I take that out? No. And I knew better and I didn't take it out. I wanted it anyways. Like, I'm not going to waste my money. But yeah, it was so irritated. I haven't had any problems since, but like my poor little ear was so irritated. And I dealt with it. And then my snug, I had so many issues with, and I dealt with that for like at least a year, a little over a year, until I went to Warhorse. When was this? When I went to Warhorse 2 years later. I got more tattoos since then, but 2 years later I went to Warhorse to get my rook done on my left ear, the same one where the snug is at. And when, her name is Granny, super nice lady, when she was piercing my rook, she takes a look at my snug, and I always had these little keloids on my snug, which is kind of like that scar tissue, but sometimes it would be there, sometimes it would go away. It just would depend on like how irritated my ear would get. So I would try to not sleep on that side, even though it was like healed. It had been like 2 years since I've had this piercing, 3 years maybe since I've had this piercing. I would just try to like cut my ear if I slept on that side, you know, whatever. I clean it every single day, twice a day. If I had the keloid, I'd use tea tree oil. That would make it go away. And I told her a little bit about this, and she's looking at it and she goes, would you mind if I changed the jewelry to a longer bar? And I said, no, not at all. You know, when she's like piercing my rook, you know, she's talking about the snug, and she takes it out and puts a longer snug bar in. And she goes, like, she's asking me where I got it done. And I told her, and she goes, yeah, they pierced you with a bar that's way too small for your ear. Like, and your ear has just been irritated ever since. And like, that's why I had these keloids. And like, ever since then, like, my ear has been fine. And like, now, like, my ear has like room to like breathe. But like, I've always like had problems with it healing and like these keloids, because like, it's just been like, I know it's called a snug, but like it didn't have to be like that. You know, you can't pierce with jewelry that's too small. And I had no idea, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really like to mess with my jewelry like once it's like in, kind of a thing. I mean, I change my nose, but like that's kind of really it, unless I go to the piercer and I have them change my stuff for me. And especially something like my snug, there's not much you do with it. It's just 2 silver balls on the end. It's not anything that you would change like your lobes. So I was really, you know, grateful that Granny was looking out for me like that. And I haven't, you know, it's completely healed and fine, but just, you know, some of that stuff like that. And I had some more problems with Defiance that made me decide I never wanted to go there again. But I don't know if I'll get into that. We'll see. Let me go back to the next step. After my snug and Daith, it was like May 2017. I got 3 tattoos in one session at Defiance, because I was still a big Defiance fan. I got tattoos 2, 3, and 4. Because again, the only tattoo I had at this time was my zodiac sign on my back. So I got my Pokeball tattoo on my arm. And I got my semicolon with the cat head on my ankle. And I got my XOXO on my wrist. And I will insert the little picture right here. That's the one I posted on Instagram, like when I first got them done. I always knew I wanted a Pokemon tattoo. I did add to it later on, which we'll talk about, and I do plan on adding more to it in the future, actually. The semicolon with the cat head is actually in representation of Chloe. That's because it's like the semicolon, if you don't already know, is in representation of mental health awareness. And it's supposed to, the whole idea behind it is like a semicolon doesn't like end a sentence, like you can continue, and it's supposed to be like, you know, you don't have to end your life, you continue your life, for suicide prevention awareness. And I'm somebody who have struggled with mental health issues my entire life, and I used to struggle with suicidal thoughts, especially when I was younger. And that's something I do plan on talking about in a separate video in the future. But basically, Chloe is one of the main reasons why I did not kill myself when I was younger. She did save my life. I know some people would be like, oh, she's just a cat, but like, the way I've always looked at it is she was my guardian angel. Chloe is no longer with us. If you saw my In Loving Memory of Chloe video on YouTube, I lost her back in November. But Chloe did save my life. I do plan on getting a portrait piece of her in the future, but years ago I did get that semicolon with the cat head in representation of Chloe did save my life. And then the XOXO on my wrist is actually a tattoo for my mom. Ever since I was little, my mom and I have always kind of did like XOXO like for each other. My mom has always gotten me XOXO things. Like I've had like bracelets and notebooks, like not even just like for Valentine's Day when that stuff pops around. Like if my mom's ever seen anything with XOXO on it, it's like made her think of me, like hugs and kisses. And we've just kept that like my entire life. Like I'm 22 years old, and for Christmas, like she just found like a bottle of perfume that said XOXO on it, and like I got that for Christmas. Like we still keep this to this day. So anytime I see XOXO, like it still makes me think of my mom. In text messages when we say goodbye, like we sign it with XOXO. And like I only do that with my mom, and like that's just me and her. I don't think her and Sam do that. It's really just been something like me and my mom have held. You know, her and Sam like have their own things that they like do, but that's something that it's always made me think of my mom. So I did want to get this for her, and I really like it. I've been fond of it. The next tattoo I got, good thing I wrote this little note here. In the fall of 2017, I did get my chest pierced. You don't get any pictures of that, sorry. I don't want to give any names because like that's not fair to them if they don't want the whole world to know, but I did have a friend who wanted to get their chest done. I have a friend who has their chest done, right? I thought it was the coolest thing ever. She said it wasn't bad, gave me a bunch of information on it, and like me being super self-conscious, I was like, wow, like that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Actually, that sounds like something that would make me like and appreciate my own body more. And it was actually like, for anybody out there who struggles with loving their own body, I would highly, highly suggest getting your chest pierced. If somebody asked me right now, like, you could only keep one piercing, I would have to pick between my tongue piercing or my chest piercing. Like, those are my two favorite out of every single piercing I have. Like, those are the two that make me like feel the most confident about myself. I used to always say my chest, but I recently got my tongue pierced back in August, and like I really, really like that one too. So like, I don't know, like I really like those two. But so my friend had hers done, and I contemplated it for a while. So then I had another friend who wanted to get hers done, and she said she'd get hers done with me. And I was like, okay, bet. That's when we found Warhorse, and they have female piercers. That made me feel more comfortable. And we talked to them, and they said they could do both at the same time, which the friend that I had who has hers done, she did not get to do hers at the same time. She did it one at a time, which I could not imagine doing. I think if I had to do that, like I feel like I would have like chickened out, and like I would only have one pierced and not the other, which would suck. But like, I don't know, man. But we got there. My friend went first. She said she wanted to go first because she was worried if I went first and she like watched that she wouldn't be able to go through with it. But I'm glad she went first because I feel like it made me feel better seeing that like, oh, I guess it wasn't that bad. And I used to always tell myself the two piercings I would never be able to get was my tongue and my chest, because I just felt like the pain would be too bad. Like I felt like I'd never be able to do that. And went to Warhorse. I made sure that they had, two girls on site at the time who would be able to pierce us, and they did. And they took us to the back, set up a curtain, make sure we had our privacy. We both wanted to be in there, like, with each other. We don't care if we see each other without our shirts on. We're both adults. It's completely fine. It's normal. Whatever. They did both of hers at the same time, and then I went. They did both of mine at the same time. It hurt. Like, but it genuinely only hurts, like, as they shove it through really quick, and then you're done. Like, as they shoved them through, I'm just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that was it. And then, like, they laughed. There was a guy, like, out there getting tattooed, and, like, he heard me shout that, and, like, you can just hear them, like, laughing out there. And, like, sorry if that's choppy. I, like, almost said my friend's name. And then, like, my friend just starts laughing. Because she's just like she didn't react like that because, like, yeah, it hurt, but, like, she didn't, like, shout. And then I was like, oh, yeah, like, that wasn't so bad. And she's like, that wasn't so bad. You just, like, screamed. I was like, yeah, but, like, it's fine. Like, now it's done and over with. And, yeah, that was really it. Like, it wasn't bad at all after that. Self-confidence way up. I don't think she has hers anymore. I have another friend, I think she took hers out as well, not the original friend who has hers done. She still has hers. I've known plenty of girls who pierce them, take them out, get them re-pierced, take them out again. There can be lots of complications. They're not necessarily easy. Some people can't have body piercings. They get rejected. I'm thankfully really lucky that I can. My body takes to piercings pretty well. But like I mentioned, like if you've considered it, if you're worried about pain tolerance, it honestly, if you can pinch your chest and deal with that really quick, then you could definitely go get them done. And if you struggle with body image issues, then you could definitely get it done. Like, I believe in you, girl. Like, go get it done. Or if you're a dude and you really just want your chest pierced, like, go get it done. I believe in you, dude. You got this. Like, everyone's a bad bitch. Go do it. After that, in May of 2018, I got one of my favorite pieces done. I will insert a picture here. Was my Haku piece. I actually designed this piece myself. I used some reference material online. I used maybe like 3 different reference materials that I found, I think, on Pinterest, and I kind of like morphed them into an original piece myself that I really, really liked. Just because I wanted something that was a little more unique than just something that someone else might exactly have on themselves. But it's from my favorite movie called Spirited Away. Many of you may be familiar with it. Some of you might have no idea what I'm talking about. And then I still have the original picture of that too. So like, if you don't believe me, I swear on my life, it's in my back room. I have the picture. I even signed the corner of it. I designed this. I didn't like, someone's gonna like go online and be like, this one looks really close. Well, it's because I found reference material. I took 3 and I morphed them into something I liked. And I'm really happy with it because I needed something that would fit on like my arm too, and something that I know like that would be incorporated well into pieces that I wanted in the future as well. But I was really happy with it because I felt good. I got this one, the Haku piece, and on the same day I got my Animal Crossing leaf, which I'll insert a picture, done at Black Sheep Tattoos in Kent. I heard really good things about them, and I didn't just want to get this done at Defiance because I was just worried that maybe I wouldn't like them doing such a big piece like this. And when I had gone in, there was a girl there, and when she saw the piece I wanted done, like, she knew immediately what it was. She knew the Japanese artist, who created Spirited Away, and she wanted to do it, and I was, ecstatic. I was super pumped. Like, I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm more than happy for you to like do this piece. Yeah, it looked good at first, but a year later I did have to get it touched up. I had some more color added in. My leaf is pretty, I don't know if you can see, probably not. It's kind of blown out. Actually, within these next couple of months, like tax return time, I plan on getting my leaf re-outlined, colored in, and then an Animal Crossing quote put underneath of it. So within the next, we'll say 4 months, will be my next tattoo, and it's going to be to clean up this Animal Crossing tattoo. But yeah, that was my one and only time at Black Sheep. I probably won't go back. No offense, guys, but I just love me some Warhorse. Then in April of 2018, about a year after I got Haku and my leaf, is when I went to Warhorse for the first time, and then I got that Rook done, and Granny was super, super nice, and she switched out that snug for me like I mentioned previously, and I got my first tattoo behind my ear, my right ear, and it is Navi, insert a picture here, Navi from The Legend of Zelda, which I love so, so dearly. I don't know, if you can't tell from like my tattoos thus far, I'm actually a huge geek, and I kind of want to have tattoos from like all of my favorite like nerd related things. So like if someone were to like look at me, they could like easily tell the things I'm into, and that's that. After that, a few months later, July of 2018 is when I got my septum pierced. Yes, I still have it pierced. It depends on how I'm feeling, like what kind of jewelry I want to have in. Sorry, I'm gonna be picking my nose. I have a clear retainer in. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. Clear little retainer. Oh yeah, you can definitely see it. And then you can just flip it up in your nose. It's just plastic, so it's like easy to move. You can't even feel it. You can't even tell it's there. So my parents prefer when I wear that. And so when I wear this, I like to wear my ring, and then when I wear something in my septum, I like to wear a stud. You might have noticed, you might have not. Who cares? That's just what I like to that's what I prefer when I'm switching out nose jewelry. Sometimes I'll wear this for a while and I'm like, oh, I think it's time to put something in my septum again. Then in February of 2019 is when I got my second ear tattoo, this time behind my left ear, insert picture. And this was my matching tattoo with Blaine. And it's funny because Blaine and I were actually only dating for 3 months, and I convinced him to get a tattoo with me. So we got our B tattoos together, and I understand how like stupid that sounds, because I can't imagine getting matching tattoos with any of my exes. Which, funny story, I almost did get tattoos with one of my exes. We almost got like king and queen tattoos, as stupid as that sounds, but we chickened out last minute when we were supposed to go get money from an ATM and like didn't go back. That's really shitty. Don't do that, guys. But like, I'm glad we didn't. I'm sure he could say that to this day because we're obviously not together. I'm glad we didn't. And we were together for like 2 years, almost 2 years. And like at this point in time, like Blaine and I were only together like 3 months, and we're like, let's get these B tattoos together. But what I really liked about them is that like they're just matching tattoos, and like I am a big supporter of like the Save the Bees movement, and I knew, like we both knew that like if something ever happened like in our relationship, like we'd both be okay with just having bee tattoos. Like I'd still, like I'm okay with having a bee behind my ear, and like he just has a bee by his flowers. Like we're okay with that. Granted, I mean, we're getting married later this year now, but I understand how silly it sounds that we got these tattoos so early on in our relationship. And no, I don't recommend that to everybody. I know that I do spontaneous and irrational things. Sorry, Mom. Next, in March of 2019, I got, if you can't tell, whenever it's like springtime and I get tattoos, it's because that fat tax return check hit the bank. And what do? I go get a bunch of tattoos and piercings to feel good about myself. Duh. So, I promised myself that when I graduated college, I was going to get a psychology tattoo. And I did. I had to wait till that check hit, though. So in March of 2019, I got my psychology tattoo, which was, it's the Greek symbol for psychology, and behind it is the chemical symbol for serotonin. But to replace the little molecules, I have the flowers for, the flowers that are in my Haku tattoo, because it's right next to that tattoo. And, I love it. It's so, so beautiful. But then 2 days later, I went back and got the sunflowers and lavender added to my Pokeball tattoo. And then I will be adding more because I would like a little half sleeve at least over here. So I got the, well, I just inserted the picture, but I got the sunflowers and lavender over here, and I do plan on adding like more all over here, obviously, but you can only do so much at so like within a certain amount of time. Like, first of all, you can only sit so long, you can only take so much pain, and you only got so much money. But then they did this and my Stan Lee same day. And then 2 more days after that, I got Haku touched up and color added. And then I will insert a picture of what Haku looked like 1 year after being healed, and then what it looked like being touched up. But this is what it looks like now. I'm going to go back when I get my Animal Crossing one touched up here, just because the pink in this top flower needs touched up. But it looks so good. I love my Haku, and it's right by the psychology one right here. So I really, really, really love everything I have so far. And let's see. A few months after that, right after my 22nd birthday, just a couple days actually, I went and got my tongue pierced. And then this was spontaneous. I just love Blaine so much. Sorry I gush about him, guys, but he's just not only like my number one fan and like supporter, but like he really is like great, and I'll just leave it at that. But like, I went to go get my tongue pierced, and he was like kind of thinking about getting his nose pierced, right? Like just out of nowhere. And I was a big supporter of it. I was like, you do you, boo. Like, yeah, like yeah, go for it. So we asked Granny, because we went to Warhorse. We love Warhorse. It's only place we're going to go. And that's where I went for the touch-up and the psych tattoo and the Stan Lee and the flowers, Warhorse. We're like, hey, Granny, like, because I think it was $30 for my tongue, and then, which again wasn't bad at all. I was so anxious, but like once she started talking to me about the whole thing and like I stick my tongue out, she's patting it, like I'm instantly like not anxious anymore, like knowing that like I've, you know, worked with, like, she's done my stuff before. I'm like instantly not anxious anymore. Like she just, I feel at peace. I know it's gonna be quick and over with, which it was, and I was fine. You know what I mean? And I just, if you're within the Kent State University area of Ohio, there's a Warhorse Kent and Ravenna. They're within 10 minutes of each other, honestly. Go to Warhorse. This is not sponsored by them, but I cannot promote these guys enough. Like, come on. Anyways, so he's like, hey, how much would it be to get my nose done? And she goes, honestly, I'll do a 2 for $50 special, because normally it's $30, but if you get your nose pierced like right now, I'll do 2 for $50 instead of 2 for $60. And he's like, and I was like, yo, like, I will pay for you to get your nose pierced right now. Like, if you get your nose pierced, I'll pay for it. Because at that point, I was already going to pay, $30 for my tongue. I'll pay an extra $20 and you would get your nose done. And so we did, and he's got his nose pierced, and I love it, and he loves it. He still has it in. I'm surprised because Blaine's had a handful of piercings. He's taken them all out. He genuinely only has his lobes, his gauges in, and like now his nose. He's had his lip pierced, and it's out. He's had his tongue pierced. That lasted 3 days, and he gave up on that. He's had his industrial, gave up on that. He's had his second holes, gave up on that. He just doesn't do well with them. And like he thinks about like getting everything done again, and then he's like, no, he's good. He's got a lot of tattoos though, I will admit. And let's see, my last one. And no, I did not go to Warhorse. I was pretty anxious about this because I felt bad not going to Warhorse, but they weren't doing a special. It was, you can see the shadows of the little kitties. You see them? They're on the cat tree. It was September 13th last year, so 2019. It was that like harvest moon, full moon on Friday the 13th, and a lot of tattoo places do specials like Friday the 13th tattoos, and I have always wanted one. I promised myself I would get one, and I've never gotten one, and everyone was talking about how special of a Friday the 13th this was. And Warhorse wasn't doing anything, and I really, really wanted something. And I've always wanted like a fortune cookie tattoo or like one of those lucky cat tattoos. And I was looking at stuff online, and this place in Akron, I don't even remember what the name of it was called because I was just looking at stuff on Facebook to see who had flash sheets. And this place on Akron had some flash sheets shown, and they had this fortune cookie one, and I'll insert a picture. And it was just a little fortune cookie with a 13 sticking out of it. And I don't remember how much I paid. I think I just paid $30, maybe 30, 40. I think it was $40 because I got color. And I think that because it includes tip, like, and they tell you in there, like, this is the price of it, and they're including the tip towards it. So you, like, I guess if you want to tip extra, you can, but they're telling you like part of the payment is the tip towards the artist. And a lot of the, like, when they do specials like this, they tell you that kind of information, which I think is pretty nice. That way, like, you know ahead of time if you need to take more cash out or not. Because I don't know if you've ever seen sometimes when they do piercings or stuff like that, or like really mini tattoos, it'll be like, oh, $20. Because for Friday the 13th, it's like, oh, it's $13, but you pay $20 because $7 is the tip. But that way it's $20. So I went and I got my little fortune cookie tattoo that I just showed you a picture of, but I had it put by my haku, and it fits really nice here. Part of my whole, at least quarter sleeve that I'm going to do. At least quarter sleeve that I'll end up having completed on this arm at some point in time, you know, money. Yeah, I can't say it. It's like, it's not that I wouldn't ever not go back to this place, but I probably won't. I just really, really like Warhorse, and that's that. So, yeah. The whole reason I'm not a big fan of Defiance anymore, I just want to add this at the end. So sorry. If you like Defiance, good for you. Like I said, I've gotten, four tattoos there, 5 piercings. And nothing was like horrible. When I was going to get my first tattoo behind my ear there, my Navi, my friend had gotten a tattoo behind her ear there just 2 weeks prior at Defiance. She got a little storm cloud with a lightning bolt, and it was just an outline, black and white. I think she got a little bit of shading in the cloud and the bolt maybe. And as you saw with Navi, it's just all an outline, tiny bit of black and white shading. I want no color. And I matched up the size of mine to the size of hers. They're the same exact size. I went in there, and it's just this one dude, right? And he was like, oh, well, there's going to be a wait. And I was like, well, that's fine. Like, and there was nobody in there but like 2 chicks waiting to get like piercings. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, and he like takes my name down, and we sit down and we wait. Cause like, I was just super excited to get this tattoo behind my ear. And I told him it was just a small tattoo behind my ear. And then we only waited like 20 minutes, and then it was my turn. So I just have a feeling he wanted me to leave, but whatever, I was being patient. And I never dealt with this dude before. I was more familiar with these 2 other guys who were always very nice to me. And when I went up there, showed him what I wanted, talked to him about it, he priced me at $80. $80 for a small tattoo behind my ear. And I was like, and I had my friend with me who just got her tattoo there 2 weeks prior. And I was like, and even she was like, excuse me? And he was like, what's the problem? Like, tattoos behind the ear are complicated, so that's why it's more money. And I was like, what? No, they're not. Like, I know plenty of people with ear tattoos. She's one of them. She just got one here last week, and she paid $40. And he goes, well, yours is bigger than hers. And I took the print cutout that he just did, like, because, you know, they go and they print it and they cut it out and they, like, put it behind your ear. I took the print cutout and I put it next to her storm cloud behind her ear, and they're the same size. And I said, no, it's not. And he goes, the best I can do is 70. And I said, and then because to get prices, I had messaged Warhorse on Instagram, and I like asked them how much they would do something like that for, and they said, oh, maybe like $60. And I showed him the messages on like Instagram, and I said, well, Warhorse said they would do 60. I was like, would you at least do 60 since we're already here, since like your competitor down the road said they would do this tattoo for $60? And he's like, this isn't Walmart, like we don't price match tattoos. And I said, you know what, dude, like, fuck you, like, we're out of here. I didn't say fuck you, but like, basically, I was like, no, like, I'm not paying $70 for like an outline behind my ear, especially when he was nothing but rude to me. And my friend paid $40 the week before. Like, not only that, like, it's like, because I just know he's like, you'd be pocketing that money. Like, you're not paying like $70, $80 for the needle and ink. Like, it doesn't cost that much. You're pocketing that money on top of me tipping you. And I'm a very nice tipper. I've worked in the service industry. I tip 20% minimum wherever I go. Nails, hair, tattoos, food, anywhere I go, 20% tip minimum. Ooh, did you see that light flash? I saw that. You know, and yeah, I was pissed. So I went to Warhorse, told him about everything that happened. Guy was super nice to me, did the tattoo beautifully, charged me $50. I tipped him 25. I tipped him like 50% or whatever. I think I did the math right. My head hurts. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I tipped him half of what my tattoo was, you know, just because of like how nice he was. He's like, yeah, like he doesn't use a lot of ink. I only had to use one needle. Like, he's like, there's no reason that guy should have been charging you $70, $80. Like, he just sounds like he was being a dick, truthfully. Especially with like what you were saying, like your friend was just there 2 weeks before getting this like the same size tattoo in the same spot. and he was just feeding me bullshit. So I went on Google and I left a review about him. I got his name and everything. And when I was reading reviews, the only bad reviews was also about this guy and how rude he was. And then I got a comment back from the tattoo shop, and they were really snippy about me, about like how I didn't like him. And I was like, wow, you guys, they're like, this is the second review we got promoting Warhorse instead of us, like really suspicious. And I'm like, you guys are mad that I'm promoting Warhorse over you guys because I thought your employee was rude. I couldn't even. I couldn't even. Like I had no problems with Defiance up until this point in time. You know, like I said, 4 tattoos and 5 piercings, and it's this rude guy that made me never ever want to go there again. They have good tattoo artists and good piercers, and I said in my comment on Google that this guy is going to drive business away. You know what I mean? Like, and I said it takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch, as cliche as that saying is. And, you know what I mean? Like, and he, like, on his piece of paper, he took names and numbers of people he was supposed to call, but, like, before it was our turn, when he said there was a wait, he didn't even call them. Like, he took us next, and, like, we ended up leaving, of course. Like, I just think it was very rude. Like, dude, if you're having a bad day, like, I get it, but you don't have to be rude to your customers because now I will never go back. And like, that's fine. Like, that's fine. Like, I will always go to Warhorse. Everybody there has been nothing but kind to me. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I get it. Like, I've heard those things, and like, I'm a big believer in, like, you know, you can't go cheap on tattoos and piercings. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm not looking for like, oh, I want a big piece on my arm for $20. Like, I'm not saying that. But I thought it was pretty fishy that he wanted double the price of a tattoo behind the ear. You know what I mean? And it's one thing, like, I respect shop minimums. I know a lot of shops have like a $60 shop minimum. It'd be one thing if he told me that. There was no shop minimum. Or if there is, I think it was like $20 or $30 at this place in particular. And it threw me off, and I didn't like the way he treated me and acted towards me. And I'm a big believer in like how you treat your customers. And I just, you know what? If that's how you want to act, and especially having the tattoo shop not taking my review seriously, I received like backlash. They're like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, fine, whatever. You don't have to have my business, and that's fine. Like, if you're okay with that, cool. I will keep going to Warhorse. Why do you think they're bumping all the time? You can just be pissy because Defiance used to be like the one and only tattoo shop in Kent that everybody would go to. And then the last few years, Warhorse popped up, and then they opened 2 locations, Kent and Ravenna. And now I feel like nobody wants to go to Defiance anymore. And I don't, whatever. If they still get business, cool. And if they're just going to put out shitty, cheap work, then so be it. And I don't care who doesn't like what I have to say. If you still go there, good for you. Like I said, the tattoos that I have for them, they're okay. But I will say, and you might notice it yourself, if you saw on my cat semicolon tattoo, the whiskers aren't even on both sides, and it has bothered me all these years, and there's nothing I can even do about it. All you had to do was draw symmetrical whiskers on either side of a circle. And not only that, but like when I got my Pokeball, I asked for no white ink, and he put white ink on the inside anyways. Like, I don't know. And then like the whole issue I had with my Snug and my Daith, like, it's just little things that like now I realize like later down the road, like I'm just glad that I've personally made the decision to not go to Defiance. To each their own though. It's just like when I try and review products, like some things work for me that might not work for others. I might really like one thing, I might really not like one thing that you guys may or may really like or not like yourselves. So if you really hate Warhorse when I really like it, so be it. You're entitled to your opinion. If you really like Defiance when I really, really hate them, you're entitled to your opinion, as am I, so be it. So, as always, so sorry this was a lengthy video. I thought about splitting tattoos and piercings up separately, but I didn't want to. Sorry, not sorry. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!